Today we go over Star Wars Episode 9 when it comes to new details of General Leia being portrayed by Carrie Fisher. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, the thing here is this. With Episode 9, we do know that JJ Abrams and Chris Terrio came up with the idea, as well as Carrie Fisher's brother. They all came up with the idea of using unused footage from both The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi as a way to revive the character in Episode 9. Now, a lot of people were assumed to believe that we were actually going to be introduced to Leia's fate in the very beginning of Episode 9. However, JJ has stated before in the past that they had enough footage to work with to actually give her an actual role in Episode 9. Now, these past couple of weeks, we've been learning a whole lot more about Episode 9 when it comes to some of the set designs and the scene descriptions and some of the photos that leaked out there of Poe, Finn, etc., and some of the concept art and storyboard descriptions as well, one of which consisting of both General Leia and Maz Kanata, specifically Leia and Maz standing in front of each other in a control room looking environment. Behind Leia stands Rey, leaning against a wall. Maz appears to be handing something to Leia, but the object is obscured. Another description goes over Leia, Rey, and Chewbacca looking through a thick book, which could be the ancient Jedi texts. Now, I want to go over the first part that really brings up a lot of interest for me here, is that when Maz Kanata is in front of Leia, handing that mysterious object to General Leia, I think that this is most definitely a connection to what we saw in the footage of The Force Awakens trailer number 2, in which we do see Maz Kanata handing Luke Skywalker's lightsaber over to Leia. Now, if that actually ends up being in Episode 9, what could that possibly mean, right? Because we do know that Anakin and Luke's lightsaber was split in two after that Force duel between both Kylo and Rey. So what's going on? If they are to have the lightsaber in one piece, where Maz is going to hand it off to Leia, exactly why would it be in one piece? It's very possible that maybe Rey gives it to Maz to repair, and then once Maz Kanata repairs it, Rey meets up with Leia, and Maz hands it to Leia. And Leia essentially kind of realizes that this was something that belonged to not only her brother, but also her father. I mean, it would be a great way to kind of tie in that Skywalker family tree, right? Where Leia is essentially holding history in her hands. If they do something around those lines, I think it'll be very magical, just kind of like when we got that reunion between both Luke and Leia, which I believe was the most emotional part of Episode 8. Now, the other thing here is this, the one of Rey, Leia, and Chewbacca looking through a thick book. I think that those are indeed the sacred Jedi texts. We do know that Rey, after all, took them out of the tree library, brought them on the Millennium Falcon, and, left the surface and went out into space towards Snoke's supremacy ship. And she has the books. So, we do know that from the Poe Dameron comic, that she's learning about all of the knowledge within these books, all thanks to C-3PO, where 3PO is essentially translating certain, passages to her about the Force and the Jedi and stuff like that, and 3PO even says it's so ancient, this may not even be fully accurate. So the whole concept with using Leia footage seems like they will be rotoscoping her and putting her in different environments with the actual actors, such as Daisy Ridley and Lupita Nyong'o, acting as the new versions of Maz Kanata and Rey in the same exact environment. So that's going to be a very interesting take on how they will do things, because they are able to take her body, alright, rotoscope her out and put her in a brand new environment that's suited for Episode 9. This is a huge question, right? Because thinking about unused footage from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, you would immediately think to yourselves probably like, oh, that's from The Last Jedi, right? Well, they're going to use that rotoscoping technique to put her in new scenes that were shot for Episode 9. So they could actually have a lot of things going for Leia in this movie. The only problem is dialogue, right? How exactly will she be able to communicate or interact with the characters seamlessly. You know, they could always do some things here and there, fast cuts, keep it minimal in this section or that section there. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to try to create a scene between herself and some of the main actors as a scene that's short and sweet and gets right to the point, and then they leave. You know, the other ones, you know, I think is just going to be Leia on her own in, you know, different environments that they'll rotoscope her out of and stuff like that. As far as this goes, though, of Maz handing her an object, it has to be the Skywalker lightsaber. How could it not be? I mean, it seems way too similar to what we saw in The Force Awakens trailer number 2, the famous one where you see Darth Vader's melted helmet, and Luke Skywalker says, "You have that power too," and you see the lightsaber being handed over to Leia. All those concepts, you know, were in that trailer, and some of which were cut out of the final version of the movie. But anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.